What's up guys, Reese here from Reese Loves Minecraft 999. Today we are going to be ranking every single Sum 41 album from worst to best. Sum 41 are one of my favourite bands of all time, so I thought I would start this series off with them. So they have 6 studio albums, and in this video I'm going to be ranking every single one from worst to best. So I just want to point out quickly before I get into it, I don't think Sum 41 have released a bad album, which I know a lot of people say that, but I really don't think they've released a bad album. And they've released a couple of weaker ones, but there isn't an album that I think is just straight up terrible. So with that being said, let's get right on with it, and here's my first pick. Right, so at number 6, my least favourite Sum 41 album is Screaming Bloody Murder, for quite a number of reasons. So the first of those being, it was extremely different, and I don't want to come off as one of those people that can't deal with change in a band's kind of music style, but this was just really all over the place. There was parts of metal, there was elements of parade type music. I don't even know if that's a thing, but marching drums and stuff on some of the tracks, like Sick of Everyone in the verse. But there is some heavier songs that I do really like the title track Scream Bloody Murder is really good, Scumfuck is really good as well, and so is Blood in My Eyes. So this was the first Sum 41 album that I was really able to be a part of coming out, because this came out in 2011. So this was the first one that I actually was kind of getting into Sum 41 at that time, even though I just releasing the album. So it holds a special place for us, but overall I just think it's their weakest outing. At number 5, which is their second worst album in my opinion, Chuck. This one came out in 2004. In my main the songs are really good on this album, but the problem that I have with it is the track listing. You have some really heavy songs before some of the softer ones, which in my opinion doesn't really work, because you've got the really heavy tinged riffs like We're All to Blame, for example, and then, which is at track 3, and then only at track 5 we'll have Sub Say, which is one of the softest songs Sum 41 have ever done. So it's kind of hard for us to kind of fully enjoy it. So I think the best way for me to enjoy this album is if I'm just listening to it through a Sum 41 shuffle and one of the songs comes up, I'll probably enjoy it more. But sitting down and listening to this entire album isn't something I would do normally, especially if I'm listening through Sum 41's discography. At number 4 we have their newest album currently, 13 Voices. A little bit like Chuck, all the songs are great on this. But again, the problem is the track listing. It's just the songs I feel are a lot better on this than they are on Chuck, but I feel the really good ones outshow the singles, if you know what I mean, the deep cuts. The Fall and the Rise is one that I think completely overshadows all of them. It's my favourite song off this album. But the singles are great too, like Goddamn I'm Dead Again, Fate My Own Death, and of course War, which is really good song. But there is one song on this that I really don't tend to listen to, and that's A Murder of Crows, which was the first song on this. I just don't really care for that track's tone. So yep, that's why it's at number 4. Right, we've made it to the top 3. At number 3, we're going right back to their first studio album, All Killer No Filler. And this is at number 3 for a couple of reasons, a bit like how Screaming Bloody Murder was. It's... The deep cuts on this thing are amazing, like Summer, Rhythms, Crazy Amount of Bunkface. There's just some really good deep cuts on this, but the singles on this thing have been completely overplayed, and I don't think they're necessarily bad songs, but I'm just kind of sick of them at this point, like In Too Deep, Motivation, Fat Lip, stuff like that. Which is why I didn't want to put it right at the bottom of the list, because those songs are great to listen to every once in a while, but listening to them constantly if you're listening through the album, a bit like the other previous picks, it's better. I think it's better to kind of just come back to these songs as you want, and maybe not just listen to the full album. But like, I mean, if you haven't listened to it in a while, go ahead and just throw the whole thing on. But I think overall, as an album, I wouldn't call myself the biggest fan of this album. Just the way that it kind of plays out doesn't really stick with us. So that's why it's at number 3. Right, so we are at the final 2 albums, and these two, I just want to point out, were extremely close. I had an extremely tough time figuring out which one should get the number 1 spot and which should get the number 2. So I did finally decide, and at number 2 we have Underclass Hero. And every single song on this every single song I absolutely love on this album. Like everything from the title track, Underclass Hero, to Walking Disaster, which is another one of the singles, and even some of the deep cuts like Confusion and Frustration in Modern Times and Pull the Curtain are really good. And even some of the softer ones like With Me, and my second favourite Sum 41 song at this point, Best of Me. It's a really solid song off of a really solid album. And finally, my favourite Sum 41 album, we have Does This Look Infected from 2002. This was the sophomore album, so the second album, yeah. And again, everything, even the overplayed singles like the Hell song, Over My Head, Better Off Dead, Still Waiting, like even all those ones that still get overplayed I still come back to even when listening through this thing in full. So, and also my favourite Sum 41 song is actually on this album, and it is one of the deep cuts, My Direction. If you've never heard the song My Direction from Sum 41, please go and check it out. It's such a great song. It's very short, it's only just past 2 minutes, but it just packs such a punch within that time. So if you've never heard it, please go and check this album out. You'll thank us later for it. It's such a good album. Right, so that was every single Sum 41 album ranked worst to best. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a band in mind that you want to see us rank their albums, just leave it in the comment section. There's going to be episodes from Green Day, Blink-182 and Metallica coming up, so if you're into that, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.